It's all about the Holy Knights.
Yeah, these guys, they kind of came out of nowhere.
Right. Everyone's been trying to figure out what their deal is. And
Yeah.
I've been digging through articles, watching YouTube videos, all that good stuff.
Trying to get some answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do we actually know about these Holy Knights?
Okay, so first off, they're this super elite force answer directly to the world government.
Okay, so like special forces.
Yeah, but even more than that, they're specifically for the celestial dragons. Think of them as the celestial dragons' personal guard dogs, basically.
Whoa, so they're even above the Marines.
Oh yeah, their authority goes above even the fleet admiral.
I mean, that's got to be someone like insanely powerful then to be above a Kainu.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so interesting, so mysterious. They're this huge power, but we've barely seen them in action.
Right, like what makes them different from Cypherpole or the Marines. Ahoy, Nakama, I'm Jiro.
I'm Keiko.
Welcome
to Mean Minion. Here, we uncover the biggest mysteries of One Piece.
From theories to reveals, we've got you covered.
Well, they're a completely separate entity. Like I said, they're dedicated to protecting the celestial dragons and keeping order in Marahoa.
Marahoa, like their holy land, right?
Exactly. And get this, they can even step in and judge disputes between celestial dragons.
Whoa, hold on. So they can tell a celestial dragon what to do?
It seems that way, which just shows how much authority they actually have.
Man, some fans even think the Holy Knights are celestial dragons.
Yeah, that's a popular theory. Like maybe the strongest celestial dragons are the ones who become holy knights.
I mean, that makes sense. Those guys think they're gods anyway, right?
Totally. Having their own super elite force to enforce their will fits their whole worldview.
All right, so they're shrouded in secrecy, crazy powerful, and maybe even celestial dragons themselves. Okay, I get why people are freaking out about them,
Right.
But why are they suddenly showing up in Now Deluge? What's got the world government so spooked that they're pulling out their trump card?
There's a bunch of stuff happening in the world right now that's got the world government on edge.
Okay, like...
Well, for starters, the Revolutionary Army straight up attacked Mary Joyce. They rescued Kuma, freed slaves, and messed up the world government's food supplies.
Yeah, that was a huge deal.
Right.
I mean, talk about bold. They went right into the lion's den.
Right. And it really showed that the world government isn't invincible.
Okay, but there's got to be more to it, right?
Right.
One attack, even on Mary Joyce, doesn't seem like enough to bring out the Holy Knights.
You're right, there's more. Abolishing the Warlord system, that was a big gamble.
Yeah, it was like a power vacuum just waiting to happen.
Exactly. It basically gave pirates even more power and made things way more unpredictable for the world government.
So they're losing control.
And then you've got Vegapunk.
Oh, man. Vegapunk dropping truth bombs left and right.
His broadcasts spilled all those world government secrets, and that really shook things up. Public trust is down. The world feels unstable. It's a mess.
And let's not forget about Elbef.
Oh, yeah. The land of giants.
Did the world government really think they could just waltz in and recruit Loki without any issues?
Their failed attempts just shows how desperate they are. The world is in chaos, and they need a powerful force to bring it back under control.
So enter the Holy Knights.
Exactly. The world government is basically saying, all right, things are getting out of hand. Time to bring in the big guns.
So the world's on fire, and they're just pouring gasoline on it by bringing in these super mysterious Holy Knights. I mean, it's exciting, but like, are we sure that's the best idea?
Well, whether it's a good idea or not, one thing's for sure, the Holy Knights are a game changer.
Okay, so how do they actually change the game? What kind of impact are they going to have?
This is where things get really interesting. I think we're going to see the conflict between the world government and the Revolutionary Army ramp up big time.
Like, could we actually be heading towards a full-blown war?
It's looking more and more likely. The Holy Knights entering the scene, that's a clear sign that things are escalating.
All right, so war with the revolutionaries, that's huge. But what about Luffy? Are we going to see the Straw Hats go up against these Holy Knights?
I'd say it's almost inevitable. Remember, Luffy's not just aiming for the One Piece. He's challenging the entire system, the world government, and everything they stand for.
And the Holy Knights are like the ultimate representation of that system.
Exactly. They're the world government's strongest weapon, their last line of defense. It's hard to imagine Luffy becoming the Pirate King without facing them.
Whoa, hold on. You think they could be stronger than Kaido or Big Mom? What kind of power were you talking about here?
We don't know for sure, but if they're really the world government's trump card, they have to be up there with the strongest in the world.
I mean, that's just insane to think about. So it's not just about raw power then, right? They're connected to the world government, the celestial dragons, all this deep history. You think they could hold the key to some of One Piece's biggest mysteries?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. They're deeply tied to the world government and the celestial dragons. Who knows what kind of secrets they have access to?
The Void Century, maybe? Unraveling that would change everything about how we understand the One Piece world. But hold on, what about the power dynamics? The Yonko, the worst generation, everyone's vying for power. How do the Holy Knights change things?
Well, get ready for some serious shakeups. The Holy Knights are like this giant meteor crashing into the world of One Piece. The balance of power is about to shift dramatically.
Oh man, things are about to get crazy.
You can say that again, and then there are all the fan theories and speculations swirling around these guys.
You're telling me. Okay, so we've got the who, the why, and the potential impact. Now, let's get to the good stuff. What are people saying about these Holy Knights? What kind of crazy theories are out there?
Well, everybody wants to know just how strong they are, right? Like, how do they stack up against the admirals, the Yonko, guys like Mihawk? There are tons of theories out there. Some even say they're like mythical creatures or maybe even ancient weapons.
I mean, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole with this stuff, especially when we know so little about them.
Yeah.
But we do know a few members, right? Like, there's got to be some concrete info to work with.
Yeah, we know that St. Figurlin Garling, he's the supreme commander.
Oh, yeah, Garling. Wait, wasn't there something about him and Shanks?
Yeah, it turns out he's Shanks' father.
What? No way.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, does that mean Shanks rebelled against his dad's whole world government thing? It makes you think.
It totally does. Man, One Piece is full of surprises. Enjoying the journey?
Like, subscribe and hit the bell to stay with us.
Back to the adventure.
Mm.
Okay, so we've got Garling. What about other confirmed members? Wasn't there something about a Holy Knight with, like, bandage powers?
Right, Gunko. His powers seem to revolve around bandages. Seems like he can control them, kind of like Doflamingo with his strings.
Oh, yeah, the string fruit. That's a pretty terrifying thought, someone controlling bandages like that.
Oh yeah, imagine the damage he could inflict. Healing and hurting at the same time, maybe.
Classic One Piece, taking something ordinary and making it a weapon. Man, what other crazy powers could they have? Speaking of crazy, some theories link the Holy Knights to the 9 unknown men.
Ah, yeah, the 9 unknown men. That's where things get really interesting. They're like this super secret society, said to know all these crazy secrets about the world.
And maybe even the Void Century.
That's the theory. If it's true, then the Holy Knights could be involved in something way bigger than we initially thought.
Man, it's like layers upon layers with this stuff. So are they just pawns in the 9 unknown men's game then? Do they even know what they're really a part of?
It's hard to say, but it makes you think about their motives, right? Are they really just following orders, or is there something more to it?
I mean, it adds a whole new dimension to their story, for sure. They might not just be enforcers, but like protectors of some ancient secret or something.
Exactly. They might be guardians of knowledge that could change the world as we know it.
Okay, so we've got these possible connections to the 9 unknown men. We've got mysterious powers. We know they were involved in the God Valley incident. But what does this all mean for the future of One Piece?
Well, think of it like this. The Holy Knight's arrival, it's a major turning point. The power dynamics, the conflicts, everything's about to get shaken up.
You're saying the world of One Piece is entering a new era.
I think so, yeah. And for those who might be a little lost, think about it this way. You've got the world government. They want to control everything, keep their power. Then you've got the Yonko, those powerful pirate captains who rule their own territories. The Marines are stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace and follow orders. And of course, there's the worst generation, Luffy and the other rookies who are challenging the old ways.
And the Holy Knights are like the wild card in all this.
Exactly. Their arrival changes the whole game. Everyone has to reassess, figure out how to deal with this new threat.
It's like throwing a shark into a swimming pool.
Totally. It's going to be chaotic, unpredictable. And, you mentioned before that they could be Luffy's final challenge. But it's not just about strength, right?
Right.
Luffy's fighting for something bigger than himself. He's fighting against oppression, against injustice. And the Holy Knights, they represent everything he's fighting against.
It's not just a battle, it's a clash of ideologies.
Exactly. Freedom versus control. And the stakes are higher than ever. And remember, this isn't just Luffy's fight. The Revolutionary Army is actively going after the world government. Their actions have played a part in the Holy Knights showing up in the first place.
So it's all connected. It's a war for the future of the world, not just some personal vendetta.
Exactly. And this is where all those fan theories about the Holy Knights' motivations and their connections get really interesting. Are they just blindly following orders? Or do they have their own agenda?
Maybe some of them don't actually agree with what the world government is doing. Like, They're just stuck following orders for some reason.
It's possible. I mean, think about Smoker or Fujitora. They're Marines, but they're not afraid to question authority to do what they think is right.
Yeah, good point. So maybe there's some hope for the Holy Knights yet. Maybe they'll turn things around, help take down the world government from the inside.
It's definitely a possibility. One Piece is full of characters who defy expectations. Who knows? Maybe the Holy Knights will surprise us all.
Okay, so we've got these potential ties to the Nine Unknown Man. We've got this clash of ideologies and the possibility of redemption. But what about their powers? The sources you brought up, they're full of speculation. What are some of the crazier ideas out there?
Well, the big one is Hideki, of course. Does every Holy Knight have it? Do they have Conqueror's Hotiki?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Imagine an army of Conqueror's hockey users.
It's a terrifying thought. And then there are theories about ancient weapons, lost fighting styles, maybe even super rare devil fruits.
I mean, the possibilities are endless. But okay, let's bring this back to the listener for a sec. We've talked about a lot here. What are the key things to remember about these Holy Knights?
Well, I think the most important thing is this. Their arrival is not just some random event. It's a deliberate move by the world government, and it's going to have huge consequences for everyone.
They're a sign that things are changing, that the world of One Piece is heading towards something big.
Exactly. And for the listener, this means that things are about to get even more intense. The stakes are higher, the fights are going to be bigger, and the story is about to take some wild turns.
It's like Oda's throwing down the gauntlet. He's saying, get ready, because things are about to get real.
And remember, in One Piece, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. The Holy Knights, they're a perfect example of that. They're powerful, they're mysterious, and their motives are still unclear. So keep watching, keep theorizing, and be ready for anything.
It's like Oda's setting the stage for some major showdown, right? The stakes are already so high, but the Holy Knight's arriving, it just throws everything into overdrive.
It's like he's saying, okay, you thought things were crazy before. Well, hold on tight, because it's about to get real crazy.
I mean, think about it. You've got the world government clinging to power, using the Holy Knights as their muscle, and then you've got everyone else, the pirates, the revolutionaries, even some of the Marines, who are starting to see the cracks in the system.
It's a classic struggle, right? The old guard versus the new generation, the ones in power versus the ones fighting for change. And the Holy Knights are right in the middle of it all.
But where do they really stand? That's the big question, isn't it? Are they just going to be another weapon for the world government to wield? Or could they actually become a force for good?
Well, that's the beauty of One Piece, isn't it? Nothing is ever black and white. There's always that potential for characters to surprise us, to make choices that defy expectations.
We've seen it happen time and time again, right?
Yeah.
Characters who start out as villains but end up finding redemption, like Belmere or Senior Pink.
Exactly. So who's to say the Holy Knights can't do the same? Maybe they'll see the corruption within the world government. Maybe they'll realize they're on the wrong side of history.
And then what? Do they turn against the Celestial Dragons? Do they join forces with Luffy and the Revolutionaries?
Honestly, I have no idea, and that's what's so exciting. Oda is a master at weaving these complex narratives where even the most seemingly one-dimensional characters can surprise you.
So even though they're introduced as this big, scary antagonist force, there's still that potential for them to become something more.
Absolutely. They could be the key to unlocking a new era of peace and equality in the One Piece world, or maybe they'll just make things even more chaotic. Who knows?
It's like you said before, we just got to buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Pay attention to the details, the little hints that Oda drops, the truth about the Holy Knights, their motivations, their ultimate destiny. It's all still waiting to be revealed.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about the Holy Knights, but before we wrap things up, what are the big questions our listeners should be asking themselves?
I think the biggest one is, what do the Holy Knights represent? Are they just another symbol of the world government's oppression, or could they become something more, something better?
And how will their actions impact the fight for freedom and justice in the One Piece world? I mean, their arrival changes the entire game, right? It raises the stakes for everyone.
Absolutely. The world of One Piece is at a crossroads, and the Holy Knights could be the ones to tip the scales, one way or another.
So to all our listeners out there, keep your Hikaki senses sharp, your devil fruit encyclopedias handy, and be ready for anything. The world of One Piece is about to get a whole lot more exciting.
Thanks for joining us, Nakama.
Have a theory? Share it in the comments.
Until next time, keep chasing your treasure.
See you soon.